It's What's the Crack? With Anton and his mum who shaves his bum, Sherie Ann.
Welcome back to another episode of What's the Crack? The podcast that brings you banter and bonding. This week's good. I have my mother back this week. She's returned from her holidays.
Do you see my tan?
I see your tan. And we're excited for this week's guest, aren't we?
Yeah.
We have our first Scottish guest of the show.
I'm so excited, Anton, because REECE, he's I just feel it. It's there.
Feel it, it's there. Okay.
It's there.
Okay.
So anyway, I'm Anton's mum, who shaves his bum.
Why did you introduce yourself? It's only been 2 weeks since you've not been on. I don't think they forgot about you yet. Right, can I introduce today's guest? Is that okay?
On you go, son.
Yes, so today's guest, like I said, is Scottish. He appeared on The Apprentice and he is the CEO of multiple theatre schools throughout Scotland. We have REECE DonneLly in the show.
Well, hello. I am laughing already because you are such a bit of me that it's unreal. I'm like, welcome, thank you guys for having me. I'm glad to be here.
Right, come on, REECE, tell us what you do,
She's
son.
excited today, man.
Because
You've missed this.
I know, I love the drama.
Do you know what?
Theatre.
You're going to be leaving here. We'll have you in River City before the week's out. I can tell.
Oh, wow. Yeah, so anyway, REECE. Okay, first Scottish guest on the show. For anyone that doesn't...
you look handsome, son.
Thanks for having
Can
me.
you stop chatting about guests?
Anton, they be red and black and they be hair back and that's amazing.
Okay.
Class.
You know what? You've got the patter that every single person in Scotland needs to see. I tell you that. You've got the chat, haven't you? I love it.
Do you think so, son?
Aye, I did.
Don't you think, please just stay true to yourself?
Well, that's
and
it,
just
right.
let it be?
My mum, who probably will be watching this because she's got more photos of me printed off than anybody else, the same way you've probably got of him.
Do you want to hear a story about this, REECE? Do you want to hear this story? I know we've not gone right into this yet, but I'm just going to... It's appropriate to tell this story.
All right.
So the first time I went on Love Island, right, I used to own my own gym. And when I went...
You still have it?
Well, I still have my own gym, okay, mother. Right, so I still have my own gym, and basically I had that was open to the public. So anyway, comes back off the show on Love Island, walks into my gym for the first time, and there is these life-size photos of me with my top off all over the gym. And I just
proud of you, that's what it is.
And
there
I
you
just
go.
turned round and went, what have you done?
We have this honestly ongoing joke where my pals are like, meet somebody prouder than Debbie Donnelly, because she's the hype man that you need, by the way. She is like you, and that's what you need. She's there to support you.
No, she is.
It's good to hear.
Me. You do support me, to be fair. But anyway, as I was saying...
What, son?
REECE, for anyone that doesn't know who you are, tell us a little bit about yourself.
So my name's REECE and I own a chain of theatre schools across Scotland. We're just about to open our first English site. So we specialise in bridging the gap between... I think it's great that every child will leave my school with confidence, but we really focus on making sure children can be seen on telly, be seen on theatre, be seen in commercials across the UK. So we started back in 2017, about 7 years ago now, very small scale, in a kind of primary school. You go into your local primary school gym hall, that's where we started, and now we've got a full-time college out of it, so kids can come to me as young as 3 right up to 25, 26, and they can come for as young as 3 years old and learn how to sing, or you can come and leave with a degree. So there's been lots of building blocks over the past 7 years, because you know yourself when you start a new business. I had a big mouth and an idea, and it took a hell of a lot of training in how to actually scale up a business. So I love my job. I love what I do, and just so grateful to work with the next generation of people. And probably most recently, I was on this season of The Apprentice with Lord Sugar, which was brilliant. But I think just going back to what you say is you just need to remember your values and who you are, and it's something that I stick by. Like, you can't kid a kidder in this game, and I'm like... You are what you are, and you want to be what you are. So since the show, I've loved life, like yourself. Yeah. We're out working, we're out getting to work with the next generation. So just super grateful to be still working and still doing what we're doing.
Yeah.
So I say to Anton as well, I mean, when he came off the show, the big boy there went a wee bit up his area.
Oh, did he? It's all coming out now.
It's not all coming out now. It comes out in every single episode that we do this. She needs to just keep rubbing it in.
But today we were at a school in Glasgow, but the STV appeal, and to see Anton working with kids again, and that excitement. I mean, the last couple of months we've been out and all the celebrities and whatever, and you know what?
There's no buzz into it, no. It's just like...
You can see right through people.
I think that's so important to say, though, and I think that I always remember the excitement when I was at school, or probably when you were at school, and somebody would come in, and I just think that's something that you really, we've got a conscious effort to look after the next generation. And being Scottish, we're always played in as a bit of the underdog, you know. We forgot about up here.
Yeah.
I was the first person on that show in 10 years. There's been about, what, 4 of you that's been Scottish from your show?
And I was the
first one. And you always, we are forgot about it, and I think that you sometimes need to fight to get into that ring circle, and that's something that I always try and teach the kids, of like, anywhere that we teach you don't know what life's going to throw at you, but fucking take every opportunity with the balls and run with it. And I think that's a life lesson that we've both probably took from that. But I think it's so good to hear that you are, you know, out working with the kids today, and there's no buzz like that. No BAFTA or NTA is going to give you that buzz.
No, absolutely
the
not.
The thing is with kids as well, like they're just so
pure.
I think
pure.
Aye,
that's the word.
So nice, and it's just there's no environmentally, there's no badness in them yet, and I think we are so responsible for what they leave and what they do. And I always say with the kids we get to work with, I am tough. Some may call me Hitler sometimes, but I'm like, you drive a good bargain because you want the best out of them, and I'm like, you want to push them. Some kids now only pushed at home, and it's a real shame, because we talk about this a lot, and we've got Grace here with us, who's obviously just started in the office, but half the battle is the way parenting has changed, and parents are now scared to sometimes say things that's going to upset, and teachers are the same. But I think that we, doing what we do, have got a massive duty of care to look after these wains of the future and make sure that they know what they want to do.
Well, as you know, Anton's we're doing, you know, I've got my own popcorn business.
Brilliant.
I've had it since 1991. I created
I wasn't even thought about in 1990.
You twinkle in your mosaic, son.
There you go, Debbie. That's one for you. I wasn't even thought about, but there you go. So you've had the business for that long.
First maker of popcorn in Scotland.
There's a title.
I created these popcorn people. So popcorn actually educated me when I went to the American farmers, and you know, and I saw this wee popcorn seed that pops into 42 times its size. Okay, Scotland never done pre-packed popcorn, so I ended up packing it. Nothing new that I was done in the States already. I was just bringing it
over
back here. So anyway, I created these characters for the healthy, nutritional, to tell the healthy, nutritional side of popcorn. Then I would write scripts and do bits and pieces and songs and put it in, and Anton would say, Mum, these characters are great. What are you doing? You just put them into a drawer all the time.
You need to do something with them. Wow.
Anton decided to get into the fitness business.
Yeah.
And then it was great with the fitness business, and then he started to teach kids. And he used to, and the different buzz.
Aye.
You could see, you know, like with the adults, Mum, let's say for Topman's sake, Reece, Betty came in and says, oh, I put on 3 pounds this week, Anton. Anton would say, how do you stick to your diet? Yeah, but the kids, it was just different. The adults would have that
negativity. I think that the kids are just so positive and in their own world, aren't they? And it's just so much fun doing it with them. But anyway, back to Reece.
No, that's good. No, it's so important that you say that, because I would never have known that, that's how the wellness apps came about.
Yeah. So
wow.
Yeah. So basically, what had happened was obviously in about 2016, I'd started doing like kids boot camps, and kids classes, etc.
And then with the kids, the kids. It just was such an inspiration.
Wow.
So I was like, look, can we do something with these characters where they're not effectively just promoting the health benefits of popcorn? They've actually all got their own philosophy that they teach the kids. So we've now created it where each member of the crew has a different philosophy that teach a kid. So from gratitude to healthy eating to exercise, good old-fashioned chores, personal hygiene, and you know, the nutrition side of things as well, and emotions. So yeah, it's all coming together, and we've tightened a few bits up with it, and yeah, it should be going out within the next few weeks, which is exciting. That's
good though, because I'm like, I feel like what we do has so much synergy of those values. We, as a school, we like to go into every child from every walk of life, and I think there's this common misconception that going to a theatre school you need to be very, you know, upper class, when we always say that the best type of child that works is a child that is not a stage school kid, that is a bit raw, they're a bit rough around the edges, because that's the type of people that we need on our TV screens. So, but I think there's so much that could be done with that. I mean, that's a book waiting to happen.
Yeah, no, there's a lot to it. The concept's
so cool.
But it's just like anything, it's just getting out there. But it's something that we're putting out there for free, because ultimately we want to use our platform in the best way to help.
I love that.
Help. So that's kind of what we're all about. So going back to yourself, obviously, you're on to your third theatre school now. Is that right?
I think we might be on to number 4.
Oh, so the
4 opens soon. So there we go.
So
number 4 opens soon.
You spoke about doing this. So is your background in theatre?
So I actually started on children's telly. So you might remember this. Do you remember Fame Academy years ago? Like Carrie and David Grant used to do a BBC One show called Fame Academy. I was on the children's version when I was maybe like 7 or 8. So it was called Carrie and David's Pop Shop. It was awful. And if anybody can go through the archive on YouTube and find it, you're in for a bloody treat, because it was terrible. But I played a character where I would go into their pop shop every day and I would tell them my problems and they would make me a song. It was brilliant. It was really fun. And then I remember being at school and just being like everybody else, and I was like, there must be more to life.
You're no Mac, you're no like everybody.
Neither are you. And I love it. But I was just remember going, there must be more to life than leaving school, getting an apprenticeship and going to Marmaris for 2 weeks in the summer. And I just remember thinking, God, there must be more to this. So as I kind of got a wee bit older, I was very lucky. I joined a show called Waterloo Road when I was like 16, which was brilliant. But I remember looking around and thinking, well, I mean, I want to be what these people have got. I want to be the Jane Beale, or I want to be the Chelsea Healy. I don't want to be someone that's coming in for 2 and 3 episodes. So I learned very quickly that as an actor, you need to go and learn your craft. You need to go and learn your craft. So I went off to drama school. I hut the books for 4 years, and I became one of those, what I would always say, one of those strange drama school people. And I just studied, I practiced my craft. And then when I graduated, I continued to work probably more on telly than in theatre. And then I came back to Scotland and I was like, God, what do you do in between jobs? It's like when you come off of a show and I come off a show, it's like you come back to this new bubble where you're like, you need to find your feet. So I was booked from one school in Scotland. A dance school asked me to come in and teach a TV workshop. How do you teach kids to work on the telly? And I was like, God, I don't really know how to do this. So I started with one workshop and then it just kind of grew arms and legs. So we teach theatre, we teach telly, but ultimately I'm like, every child that's coming to a performing arts school is going to be, they're going to leave with a sense of confidence, but the skills of how to get the job and the skills of how to book the theatre job, it actually takes years of practice and years of, so that's where I found the real beauty in it. And now we write our own shows, we create our own shows. So every Christmas we've got the gig out at the SEC, so we produce the panto there, and it's like, I love when you go to a show and it's led by kids and no led by adults, because you can allow for mistakes, but also it's just so inspiring to watch young people do a show. You know, I believe us 3 could probably give a show a good go. We could do a panto, but it's just so much more inspiring when you watch it for the view of kids, I think.
Yeah.
So that's what we now do, which is...
So where did REECE... So the entrepreneurial side...
Where did it come
from? So
from?
you're into the drama and you're giving it all this and that. So
it's such a good point, but I just remember, like, I've always had a job for about 13, like I would have done anything. I remember I'd worked in, probably like yourselves, but it's like you need to go and do it. And you know, I've never been brought up with a silver spoon in my mouth, and I think that that's a mentality that I would teach to every child. You want something, you go and work for it, and you keep chapping the door until somebody goes, God, that wee guy's still at the door. So I'd always worked kind of growing up, and then not many people know this story, so it's probably good to know, but I worked as a PR in a nightclub. You might remember this. Remember the club Light?
Oh, Light was great.
Right, well, I started there as a PR illegally at 17. And
Illegally?
Well, I'm 17. I mean, I couldn't pull the pint, so they put me outside to try and get people in.
Luckily enough, Light is actually closed down already, so they won't be
actually
closed
been
down after this airing.
We're not getting it cancelled. But I remember then, I always did this drive of like, anything I did, I always wanted to, prove my point. And within 3 months of being there, I'd turned 18 and they'd sat me down and they went, do you want to be the manager here? And I went, I'm at drama school during the week, so I don't know how I'm going to do it. And he went, you can work at night and you can work in at the weekend. Within about 2 years, I became the marketing manager and made some really big decisions in the company. So I changed the company's whole structure, probably without even knowing I was doing it. And at that point, social media was just in you.
Just there.
Aye, and it's
in you.
That's it.
It's
But that's the thing.
soul.
As an
Aye.
entrepreneur, though, it is in you.
But it's also
just
like,
there.
I think that I always say, when you employ somebody in business, I want to employ a fixer. I don't know what the problem is when I'm going to go in every day, but you fucking fix it and you go on with it. And that's the key. So I think in Light, I just fixed a lot of things and we changed the business's turnover drastically. And then I was very good at pulling in money for them. So whether it was, I was good at the pricing structure, I was good at the staff. So I almost feel like I had my own very apprenticeship of running somebody else's business, but with their bank card and no mine. So I done that, and then I continued on at drama school. I continued on trying to be an actor, which was great, but I need to be up every day and stimulated, probably like yourselves. I can't be lying in your bed waiting on the agent to phone and say, can you come down and do Corrie for 2 episodes? So I found very quickly that actually I was very entrepreneurial, and then I got another job. I also got a big boy job because I didn't last very long.
Big boy job.
I became like the marketing manager of this event company. In actual fact, all they needed me for was to sell sponsorship, which I was right good at. I could sell sand to the Arabs, as I would say. But I then realised that I was putting all of my focus into somebody else's business, and I thought, I've done enough of this. I'm going to do it on my own. So I opened the school in 2017, and it was like a passion I've never had before. Like, I can't explain that buzz of when you're doing it for yourself rather for somebody else. And for me, I'm like, I was also doing it for the kids and doing it for the fact that nobody else was offering what we offer in Scotland. So now I'm so proud of it, but so proud of the team we've got, because a lot of people at the start were like, who is this wee guy at 19 who's just bounced out and is trying to rock the boat when schools have been running for X amount of years? But I think people were getting very complacent in my industry, and I saw a gap in the market, and now I'm just so grateful that we've got the talent in Scotland that we've got. And I think that now that the shows that we've got on telly, like Love Island, like The Apprentice, we make it so much more accessible for people to own a business, rather than years ago you used to have to go to uni to study business and then open it. So I'm very, very grateful for what we've created now.
Getting back to The Apprentice there, where did that come from?
So I auditioned. I still had an acting agent. I auditioned
So
for
what made you audition?
I never auditioned. I'll tell you, I auditioned on the Tuesday for Emmerdale, right?
What?
So I was still doing my acting. I didn't know where I was going, but I'd made the decision that I was going back to work because the school had got to a point where I was being choked. Like, you'll know when you have a business where you feel like everybody's coming to you for an answer every day, and I got to a point where I kind of thought, I need out of here. Like, I'm becoming obsessed. I'm becoming not a nice person because I'm obsessed, and I needed a way. I was like, I built a business that's now open 7 days a week across 2 cities, but I was like, I'm going to explode if I don't take a break away from there. So I phoned my acting agent at the time and I said, I need to go back on the telly. I was like, I need away from here. I was like, I'm stressing out over things that shouldn't be stressed about. So I auditioned for a soap, didn't get the part. And then a couple of weeks later, I got a message on LinkedIn. It was from a producer, and they'd said to me, one of our people had saw you at a NatWest business conference doing a speech. Would you be interested in coming to apply for The Apprentice? And I was like, no. I was like, they're all idiots. I was like, to tell you the truth, I was like, they look thick as mince. And he was like, no, you've not watched it. So I watched an episode. And I thought, I'll go and meet them. And I went and met them, and the rest was history. I met them on the Friday. I was taking the children to New York in a couple of weeks, and they said to me, you know, if you come back from New York, you'll be moving into that house in a week if you get this. And I went, oh, like, I might not get it. You know, they're seeing they're seeing 80,000 people. Mm-hmm. And I'll never forget, they phoned me on Paddy's Day. I was doing a job at the SEC, and she went, unfortunately, you need to pack your bags and spend the next 3.5 months with us. And I went, shit. I said, who the fuck's going to pay the wages here? I remember just that was the instant thought, and I had to put a lot of things in place to go, but I went on The Apprentice, and it was the best thing I've ever done for me personally, because I learned that you don't need to be the person that answers every decision in your business every day. And before that, I was honestly turning into not a nice boss, not a nice person.
Yeah.
Do you know that way where you just feel like people are asking you questions that I was a ticking time bomb.
Yeah.
And going there, you'll probably agree with this, no phone, no contact to the outside world. So I was away for 3.5 months with no contact, and it was just like sunshine and rainbows. I mean, I was under pressure on screen, but it was the best thing I've ever done.
But sometimes I think it takes getting thrown into the deep end like that, where you've had to go away.
100%.
Your phone isn't there. You can't contact anyone and realise, actually, the business didn't die. It's still there.
That's such a good analogy. Nobody's going to die.
No one's died. Like, the business is still running. It still operates. And I think that's the way I felt when I went away.
You went away?
Because we're very much control freaks in our businesses as well.
Yeah.
And I do always think sometimes in business you think no one can do the job the same way that you can do it, which is actually a really arrogant way to look at it. Yeah.
But you do think that in the earlier days.
Yeah, you do. And then as soon as you learn how to delegate in your business, that's when it grows, I believe.
But I could not agree with you more, Anton, and I think that I was just so precious and I was worried that anybody was going to make a mistake, whereas actually we all need to make mistakes. I remember being like a ticking time bomb where I remember a little girl's uniform name was spelt wrong and I thought, I'm going to explode in here and it's not going to be a nice sight. For what? A bloody initial. I know. So I remember coming back with just this new lease of life, and I say it all the time, but I could not be happier that I never won. I thank my blessings every day, but at the time I was distraught. I was so hurt. I was like, I've given 3.5 months to this show. I've took unwell. I've had to come up the road, because I never ever thought in my head that I was coming back to Scotland without being in the back of his Rolls Royce. And it was just that mentality where I was like, well, I'm going on a show. I'm winning 250 grand. But the more I was there, the more I realised you need to give him 50% of everything. And I remember we were in a boardroom and he said,
you would have been dominated with the whole lot.
Come on, I would be Lord Sugar's puppet on a string.
Absolutely.
And he said to me one day in the boardroom, and it always sticks with me, we did a task and I'd regally and royally fucked it up, excuse my language. And he sat me across the boardroom and he said, you should have won this task. And I said, we were to make a cartoon. And I said, I should have won this task. I said, but I was surrounded by people, I said, that could not operate a hot bubble bath. And he went, so what are you going to do in your own business? I said, I've made me realise that I've got a bloody brilliant team. And it took me to go away to realise that. And then when I come back, I was like, God, I'm the decision maker here. And the more it went on, I thought, I think he's an amazing human. I love Lord Sugar. I think he's a business tycoon. Karen Brady could teach us all a trick or two. But I quickly realised I could not work with that man every day. And I don't think he could work with me, because what skill set was he bringing to my business? It's not as if he can go into the Glasgow School on a Saturday morning and teach some acting for TV. So I think it was, in hindsight, it felt catastrophic. But now you can reflect and you go, God, thank God I don't need to give him half my wages.
Well, but with Anton as well, I mean, Anton, he was 17.
Wow.
At 17-year-old, he says, Mum, I met these boot camp people at some exhibition. I says, Anton, because I was always into fitness when I was younger, believe it or not, but really massive in it. And Anton, since he was that size, I'd say, Anton, where's your bicep, tricep,
Gluteus maximus.
I didn't do that, whatever. So anyway, he says he wanted to go and work with his Uncle David's. His Uncle David works in the company shoe.
Aye.
My brother's been working there for
years. Wow.
It's really quite
high up.
And so he said, I says, oh no, Anton. I says, the fitness, he was in his fitness, so I got him involved with these guys with the boot camp, and he'd done some training with them, and we've got our own site.
Brilliant.
We've got a 30-acre site. So I says, you start your own business, son, because I'm really been brought up about
like that. How did that begin with you though? How did you become so entrepreneurial? Because what age did you start your popcorn at?
I started my popcorn at 24.
Wow.
But since I was 9-year-old, I was out in like Ingleston Market, the Barras, whatever.
But that's it. You find that so many people that have been brought up like that now that's just a dying age now. I think that
It's a dying
and it's a
age.
shame because I think that so many people need to be given that idea of nobody's going to come and chat at the door. And you were probably brought up with that mentality of you need to go out to a market to sell something.
What age is kids now? What age? You've got to be a certain age to go to work.
16 to work, and yeah, so I mean, but I remember I had a job at 12 or something. I was sent to work.
So,
but probably what a life lesson we've learnt for getting sent to our work.
When you think about it, all the kids have got mental health issues. When I was 9-year-old, I was at the local shop stamping the tins.
But then I just think as well, when we were probably younger, we were at rehearsals on Sunday with the kids and they'd 50 minutes. I was like, Mum will go out and play Kirby. People don't go outside anymore. But I also think that a big problem with children now is they also don't talk. I'll go into schools and I'll be like, these children are communicating via Snapchat. So they'll be Snapchatting people across the table. And I'm like, it's mental, and it's a world where if we don't take responsibility for it, God knows what's going to be serving us in years to come. And it's like, you go into supermarkets now, I don't want a self-checkout. If I wanted to go to a self-checkout, I would go. I want somebody to ask me how my day's been and ask me if I want a bag. And that world is going in business, and it's a shame.
I'll tell you something. Used to need to be
I know.
collaborating.
We should do something as well. Like, I think if it's a schools tour or if it's something, but I think those characters, I need to make a play out of it. I need to make a show out of that.
That's something
this is
we
the
were-
next step, because what we wanted was tell your idea at the holiday park.
Yeah, so my idea was to get them into the holiday
Right, so I'm going to
parks, so
stop
the
you.
kids clubs.
We've just been sponsored by a holiday park. We're taking the children to LA next month.
up.
I'm taking 50 of my kids to perform at the Dodgers and all of that, and a holiday park has sponsored us to go.
Wow.
There you go. We'll get the in there, 100%. That's
See,
such a good...
Sometimes
The universe works in
it
magical ways.
No, it does.
Are you all about that? Because I'm
Yeah,
quite
it's
spiritual.
good.
No, I say to Anton, I believe in miracles. He goes, Ma, I do believe in
No,
miracles.
and I think like everybody's meant, and at the time you might not realise.
Reece, can I just say there is miracles, and then there's wanting Michelle Obama on your podcast. So I mean, there's lines. There's lines
There's
here.
excitement. I mean, I don't know if
Well,
she'll be.
Michelle Obama. Shut up, man.
No, but I just want to put things into context because I'm all for reaching for the stars.
No, but Kate's manager goes, Sherie Ann, I think you're outreach. So I says, well, you don't try to outreach, but
She can bring it down, but you need to get. I also do think that's really important, and I think that's probably something that I've been brought up with, and even sometimes like. I'll tell this story because I remember in the earlier days of opening the school, I came in one day on the rampage as usual, and we do these things where we bring a lot of actors in, and we bring people in. I came in one day and I went, why is Peggy Mitchell not been in this school? And one of the girls that worked for me, Alana, she went, I don't know. I said, well, you go on the blower to her agent and let them know that we're working with children in Scotland and I want her flown up here and inspiring these kids. Well,
but why not?
Well, I'll tell you why not. Because the woman had been written out at EastEnders for 3.5 years and she was in a bloody Alzheimer's ward, and I'm shouting and bawling about it. And I remember going, Reece, just remember what's coming out of your
What made
mouth.
you say that then?
Because I didn't know. I just remember going. I just remember going, Peggy Mitchell, she's a big name after telly. But honestly, I remember going, right, Reece, there's aiming for the Star Son, and then there's reading the bloody news. So we didn't get Peggy Mitchell.
Peggy Mitchell and Michelle Obama.
We can never get them both on to join us. But
That's an interesting combination.
But Peggy's passed.
Oh, is she?
Are you daft?
Is she dead now? Well, rest in peace. She did. Well,
Why are we laughing?
I know. I do think that did teach us. I'm like, we do need to aim high, but sometimes I need to be brought down to life sometimes. But that's all right. That's not a bad thing. We're excited by life and we want the best.
So obviously, I feel like all of us are on a mission to educate and inspire kids. So, Reece, for you, obviously, opened these schools, opened up the new one in London.
We're opening one in Cheshire in September.
Cheshire?
I know, you coming when we go for the launch? We're opening in Cheshire because I love Manchester. I love everything that it stands for, and there's actually not a lot just out with the Central Belt. And
but it's almost like that up and coming city, Manchester. At the minute,
it's big. You'll know yourself. Everybody's moving there.
Yeah.
TV houses are moving out of it. A lot of my work, a lot of your work's probably in Manchester. And I actually feel like it excites me, right? And I think that I love Scotland. Scotland's always going to be my pal. It's always going to be my favourite place to be. But I need to challenge myself, and I'm like, I'm just getting a wee bit too comfortable. And it goes back to that before I did The Apprentice of like, right, you're starting to just start to enjoy the aspects that you love. So that's why we're doing Cheshire, just to add a bit of excitement down in a new city. So the Theatre School of England is opening, and that does excite me. But I think it's about spreading that idea, exactly what you are saying, of, you know, teaching kids that they can do whatever they want to do.
They can do whatever they want.
They can do whatever they want to do.
You can do it. Come on. Bounce to it.
You actually get on, because for the characters as well, like that's what we want.
Human
like
people.
dances, songs, everything like that.
All right, there we go. That's so good.
No, don't say that. You said the wrong thing there. No, you said the wrong thing.
Did you see her face there?
No. Oh.
No, because you like to write your stuff.
And you like to...
Yeah, no, you like to write the songs, don't you? You like to write
I love my
songs.
songs.
Use...
Did you hear my Anton's mum?
I had a question for you. So what I want to know is, when he went on that show, did you know that you were going to become who you are?
No.
What do you mean, did she know? I never had a clue about this. Either. There was one comment that was made in the first episode.
But good, I'm like that, listen.
I'm here for it. Sometimes.
Well, you'd no other option.
You started it.
I started it by making a comment about the thing. I didn't ask you to go in a recording studio and write a full rap.
Listen, you were top of the charts at one point.
Oh, it went bang.
There you go.
Yeah, but we're not top of the charts.
He's bringing you back to real life.
I know.
But Lorraine, if you're listening, Lorraine Kelly, it was her that inspired the razor rap.
Really? What did she say?
She's mother of Britain. What are we coming to?
If you're shaving your
When a mother shaves her son's bum. And I went, Lorraine, you're meant to be Scottish, you should be backing me up.
She should be supporting us. I actually think that look, it's great that we have a Scottish voice on the telly, but I tell you who I'd like to see in that seat.
I think she's definitely...
She's on
TV
the track.
Gold, isn't she? TV
Brilliant.
Gold.
Do you know what I think's fun for
Crime
you
watch,
to...
sort of thing.
Crime watch, listen. I mean, I always say this, right? I did a podcast with my mum once, and see anybody that wants... I was like, God, shut up. I'm told. No, honestly, I should have brought her here for the day, because trust me.
You should
and I was
actually.
like that, shut up. And I said before we went on, I went, don't swear. Big Mum, she went, you fucking swore 6 times during that. I went, I say it in a way that is not offensive. And see, now I always laugh at it, because I'm like, it's that thing when it's your own mum where you go, oh my God, but I could not, I think you're brilliant.
I've got past that now, if you haven't. So I just let her do a thing.
Before, when he first came off Love Island, I explained the situation when you saw the rap.
So I basically went from 4,000 followers, right, when I had my phone taken off me. I come off the show, I get my phone back, I've got 1 million followers, right? Just putting that out there, guys. Anyway.
Nothing to do with my Anton's mum.
Nothing to do with you.
My mum's razor.
Nothing to do with Stormzy back here in Scotland, right in the raps.
Oh, listen, do you know what? Reach for... See the Stormzy man?
Stormzy, I know him.
Yeah.
You want a collab with him?
Well, I didn't know who he was. I'm sorry, Stormzy.
Maya Jama, if you're watching this, she didn't know who your new boyfriend is,
I know
but
who
yes.
your new Stormzy, but you need to get behind us and support the Wayne son.
Well, there you go.
Right, what was the point of the story? Oh yeah, so from the 4,000 to the 1 million followers, so I come off, get my phone back, obviously look, 1 million followers, like, obviously excited about it. Then I look at the second last post on my Instagram, and it's my mum with these earphones on in a mic studio like this. And I'm like, what is going on? Right, so I listened to it. It's Anton's mum shaves his bum, right? And I'm like, but bearing in mind I've got no context to the bum shaving or anything. I don't.
Because what's quite interesting about your show is you don't get to see what's going on.
Yeah.
Whereas on ours, we shoot 100 hours of telly for 1 hour.
Yeah.
So we're worried, like, is that and is that and is that? And whereas you've no clue. But we come back to society, get packaged up, and then need to watch it with the viewers. Yeah. So we're watching it on the edge of our seat. Whereas you've got that kind of freedom of going, well, what's going on?
Yeah, but you've got to almost backtrack and work out where the hell this came from. So then I look at my Instagram, so that's fine, it's got like 600,000 views on it. I'm like, what the hell? Then I do an interview.
54.
Oh, right,
don't forget
the 54,000. And then I go in this morning to do the live interview with Belle. So I'm sitting there, and then he goes, oh, and your mum's kind of became a superstar. Eamon Holmes, your mum's kind of became a superstar. She's released this rap. And I went, oh my God, and played it on that as well. And I was like, I'm going to kill her.
But Eamon and his wife,
no, they loved it. They loved it, man, to be fair.
And they asked me to go and lose women. I at that time, I never expected that either.
But then I also think that comes from like you being unapologetically you, which I think in Scottish people were told not to be like that. And I actually think that's where like the beauty in my career just came, is when I've been unapologetically me. And that's so, I think it's brilliant that you've done that, right? Because for me, I'm like, I was always brought up to watch your P's and Q's and to speak properly when you're on television. I'm like, actually, we're moving on for that now, because we're all real people, right? We're all real people. And if you've learned anything in the past 2 years from what's going on in the media, it's that, you know what, people buy people and we're all normal. We all make mistakes. But listen, we're all just trying to do our best. And I think that is so refreshing to hear, though. So am I going to see you on the panel? I want you on the panel of Loose Women. I reckon we could get you to cover Kay Adams' holidays. Kay, if you're watching, let me know your holiday dates, because I think you should be covering them.
I'll be there.
Well, unfortunately, we're nearly out of time, Reece. So I just wanted
Anton, I never had you talking, son. Be mama again.
It's all right. It's okay.
But we never even covered half of it.
Yeah, that's no surprise with you here, but don't worry about that. Don't worry about that.
I love that.
Right, I better go, son.
Yeah, so lastly, Reece, what's the future plans for yourself?
A lot's changed in the past while, and I think that now I've been kind of exposed to this new world. I've got a lot I want to go and find. I say it all the time, but I've got a lot of documentaries that I want to make. I've got a lot of things I want to go and explore. But I'm just so grateful for every day that I wake up and I get to do the job that I love. And I think that, like yourself, we get to go and talk. I get to talk for a living. I get to do a lot more TV shows than what I would ever have dreamed of. But I think now I am so grateful for where the school is. I want to just tick off that English flag and make sure we open there. But just honestly keep working, keep enjoying it. And it's probably very similar to yourselves, of like, I always pinch myself and think, how is this a day in the life of work? Like, we get to go to bloody great places. The Apprentice took me to Antigua, to Dubai, and I'm always just so grateful that the phone is still ringing and we're still working. Like, my show came off air last January, and I'm like, I don't really feel like my bum's touched the floor yet, and I'm just loving and so grateful for it. So to keep working, I think, is a massive thing, and just keep educating and inspiring young people, and just keep talking.
Keep talking and keep inspiring.
No, what's next for you two? That's what I want to finish on.
We're just on a mission.
Good.
We're on a mission. Now that Anton is well, he's come back.
So you're back in Glasgow.
Yeah,
you're not going anywhere.
No. Definitely staying in the UK. Our mission now with the Can Do Crew is to get that across the UK and into every single household if we can, and constantly educate and empower the kids.
And hopefully we can help with that as well, because I just think there's so much synergy there with the brands and just so much awareness. I'm like, I think people probably thought we were going to sit here and talk about Love Island, talk about The Apprentice, and I'm so glad the conversations went the way it has, because I think that people probably have a perception of you and me that we are here to work on the telly, and I'm like, that's great, but where the real buzz comes from me is going into a primary school, going into a secondary school, and teaching these kids that, you know what, you can, and it will happen if you bloody put your mind to it.
Yeah, and I think
you can get to the stage where you're on the show.
But the shows gave us a platform to do what we want to do. That's in a lot of ways as well. It's given.
But then, where was the hat? Like, were you completely and utterly happy on that show?
No.
Yeah, and I totally agree. I'm like,
absolutely not.
If you were to ask me to choose a job to be at my school till the day that I retire, or to work on the telly, I'd be at that school till the day that I go, and you'd be doing your thing. And I think that people probably need to realise that, although it's a high, God, it's a high when you are on the air and when it's going out, but some of the lows that come with that are like, it's mental.
Yeah, no, absolutely, the lows are, but ultimately the way I look at it is we've been given a massive platform, and then now when we put out information on social media, we can hit thousands, if not sometimes millions of people, and I think that more people like us should be putting out an important message, rather than just our Star Cup,
rather than doing a paid post for Boohoo Man.
Exactly.
And I do think that is so true, and I think that people that continue to inspire younger people are the people that do that. I want used to on Coach Trip though.
Yeah, that's twice today that's been mentioned.
I want used to in Coach Trip.
That's twice today that's been mentioned.
I know.
Yeah. Coach Trip, sign us up.
No.
You didn't want to do it.
The first time round when
but we'll do it again.
they asked me to do it, and I said no. To be honest with you, Reece, I'm a very homely person.
Or you'd like to be in the house?
I need to be in my own home.
Is it routine you think that you need?
No, my home's my castle.
That's it. Good. Yeah.
My home's my castle. I know what I'm about. I know what I need. I know what I want.
Doesn't it appeal to you?
It doesn't.
And I think that is also important, because I think that a lot of people probably think that, you know, it's great, like, I've got a good day tomorrow, but I'm like, I don't live in London, neither do you. The stress of me to get to a carpet for 5 o'clock it's honestly, you're ill with the time you get there, because you've got a flight, you've got a train, you've got a driver, you've got the pass that you need to go and pick up from your agent, and before you know it, you're there, you're sweating because you need to go and do your press, and it's like, although we are so lucky that we get to go to these events, I would never dispute that, but some days I'm like, I quite like going to my work, going to the gym and getting up the road. And I think that it is really important.
And the thing is, to finish off as well, son, and if you could share it with me, what the message here is for me personally is to help kids of today get into good healthy routines, not be health. We've got our own wee bits and pieces, but a balance.
I think balance is a good word. Yeah. Gratitude.
Be kind. Be nice. Be thoughtful.
Yeah, I think that is, and it's still that. It's just like, it's morals that you want to pass on, and just, and I think that's it. And it's just a good way to finish. So we all look forward to inspiring and educating and
motivating.
Yes, the next generation.